Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier and this is Ship Updates. Now this week we actually have a ship update on a ship that, well, technically you can already fly, and that is of course the Prospector. Now the Prospector of course is the entry-level mining ship, we all know this, and it is in-game flyable right now. The one thing that it doesn't have though is the mining mechanic. Well, we have seen a very early iteration of that on ATV this week, and something that will hopefully be implemented in time for 3.2. Now, shown along with this was of course a very early iteration of the mining mechanic itself, and we all know that from the deep dive article a few years ago back in 2015, the game developers were aiming for something where it was a bit of a mini game to mine in the Star Citizen universe. It wasn't just a question of target something and stick your mining lasers on it like it was at least in the early days of EVE when I was playing. This is going to be more of, I guess, a bit of a mini game trying to keep things in the sweet spot in kind of a Goldilocks zone where you're not overheating the asteroid and destroying it and potentially damaging your own ship. Now, if you look at the title image from that deep dive article back in 2015, I'm going to leave a link in the description below if you want to read it, or let's say you're a newer backer who happened to pick up a Prospector recently or an Orion and wants to know more about the mining mechanic. You can check that out and read up on what the designers were thinking back then. But even if you look at this image, it looks like they're still trying to hold fairly close to that vision, so a lot of that information should still be fairly valid, though of course with time, things do change, also with the reality of the game. Now, of course, there was also a tragically all too brief appearance of the 600i and, of course, the revamped Aegis Penguin. But also in that patch 3.2 is the Vanduul Blade, which was a very interesting ship when it came out. Bit of a collector's item, you might say. Wasn't really personally a fan of it, but I know that there are people out there who just wanted a Vanduul ship, and yep, in 3.2 you're going to be getting your ship. Now, one of the most interesting ships, at least from my perspective, for 3.2 is this ship here, the Hurricane. Now, the reason why I'm very interested in it is, of course, it's got a heck of a lot of firepower on it, with 4 size 3s on the turret and 2 size 3s up on the nose. That could be a very interesting fighter, and the other reason that I'm really excited to see it is because it is so dependent on that turret. It will hopefully shed some more and much needed light on the turret mechanics for small ships, and hopefully get that some love and some attention from the devs, because that is an area that is currently somewhat lacking in terms of satisfying gameplay. So hopefully with the introduction of that ship, it'll kind of highlight that, and that's something that we can see put on the fast track for improvement, specifically for that ship and of course the Cutlass Black. Now, tragically, next up is of course this ship here, which is also currently flyable, the Reclaimer. Now, we were all hoping that in 3.2 we were going to get our first iteration of Salvage Mechanics. Well, it seems that that has gotten a bit of a bump, and that is now going to be part of 3.3. So, first iteration of Salvage Mechanics will not be coming out in June, they will be coming out in September, so long as this quarterly schedule holds. Now, in regards to yesterday's episode, I think a little clarification is needed. Now, when I was talking about what people had voted on in terms of priorities, these were indeed gameplay priorities. These weren't, having to do with performance and optimization, and that was not one of the options on there. There is, of course, a large update slated for 3.2 for performance optimization, which is separate from the gameplay elements, and so we should hopefully see some client-side and network-side performance optimization and improvements with the 3.2 release. So fingers crossed, hopefully that's going to get us a fair chunk of the way towards a very solid operating client, both server-side and client-side. But, of course, performance optimization is going to be something that is going to be iterated on many times through many patches up until a quote-unquote release of the game. So it's a big step, but it is indeed separate from these gameplay elements, so you need not worry. Performance optimization is still on the slate for 3.2, and it is separate to the gameplay priorities that players were voting on in that questionnaire. So apart from that, that's all we got this week. So get out there, enjoy the weekend, and see you again on Monday. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.